Is there anything about Ross and his career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him. You know, look, I understand from a perspective of someone who's just listening to what it sounds like.
Okay, I mean, he's a great rapper.
Like the slippery soap. You know, I actually washed the car because I'm supporting my brother. I'm not just buying slippery soap. I'm actually using it myself. So, yo, just stay tuned to see Diddy and Rose wash the car. And Diddy.
My brother, Ricky Rose. Ricky Rose, you a hustler, man. Woo! I've known you for a long time for helping me with Ciroc. To just, like, watching your whole get down. You a hustling motherfucker, man.
Puffy just gave me $1 million after I was just taking pictures with this shit everywhere.
With Ciroc?
For over a year.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
no
dope.
contract, no like that.
Just as a thank you.
Yeah, just on some love. So
if Rick Ross watching this, let me tell you something. Stop hiring drivers. Drivers always tell on you. I know what happened at LAX with that boy.
The drama in the hip-hop world just got absolutely wild. And honey, I mean wild. 50 Cent just pulled the most shocking move ever by throwing his support behind Drake and completely turning on Kendrick Lamar. Like, who saw this coming? But wait, it gets even juicier. Kendrick just clapped back in the most savage way possible, leaving 50 looking totally humiliated. I'm literally shaking with excitement to spill all this piping hot tea because we've got music beef, pettiness, and receipts flying everywhere. Let me tell you about Kendrick's unstoppable momentum right now. He's absolutely crushing it with his latest project GNX, and don't even get me started on the buzz around his upcoming Super Bowl halftime show. Everyone in hip-hop is feeling the pressure, darling, and I mean everyone. Kendrick's name is on everybody's lips, and while most people are celebrating his wins, as they should, others, 50 Cent, are doing everything in their power to try and dim his shine. And speaking of 50 Cent, let's talk about him for a hot minute. This isn't just some random artist throwing shade. We're talking about a hip-hop legend who literally shaped the genre in the early 2000s. So when he throws shots, people notice. But lately, oh honey, his jabs at Kendrick have been getting louder, bolder, and honestly, they're reeking of desperation.
when you goddamn getting into that wash, and you know that tip gonna be good like if you seen goddamn Miss Country. Y'all better stop buying this slippery soap, man. Pour it on there, and then I just dab it. No, then I just, hold on, let me see. You bite it? I don't know. You need the sponge. We just almost up the tie shine.
Now, let me spill the tea about 50 Cent joining Team Drake, because this is where things get extra spicy. The beef between Kendrick and Drake has been simmering for ages, with everyone in the industry picking sides like it's high school all over again. And 50 Cent, being the drama stir that he is, and we love him for it, has planted his flag firmly in Drake's camp. But here's the real tea. He's not just supporting Drake publicly, he's allegedly been giving him behind-the-scenes strategies to take down Kendrick. Spoiler alert, it's totally not working.
Your hustle is one of the reasons why I went from, being comfortable with the billionaire status and then just jumping into my trillionaire. You feel me? I just want to thank you and give you that respect. Because when you see a nigga out there,
But hold on to your seats, because 50 didn't stop there. When he showed up on Andrew Schultz's Flagrant podcast, things went from messy to messier. He teamed up with Schultz, the one who lives for controversy, and together they launched into this full-on campaign to discredit Kendrick. They spent so much time trying to downplay his achievements, calling his success manufactured, can you believe the audacity? And suggesting his influence on hip-hop isn't all that. Like, sweetie, we can see right through this desperate attempt to tarnish Kendrick's name. But here's the thing that makes me want to scream. Kendrick's track record speaks for itself. He's not just dropping hits. He's creating RT that speaks to millions and starts real conversations. His projects consistently push boundaries, addressing everything from racial injustice to identity and personal growth. So when 50 and Schultz try to claim his success isn't genuine, girl, it's giving bitter, and I mean bitter. And don't even get me started on their obvious bias. While they were busy tearing Kendrick down, they couldn't stop gushing over Drake, painting him as the real winner of their rivalry. But honey, the numbers, the cultural impact, and the critical acclaim, They're telling a completely different story. Kendrick is literally in a league of his own, and no amount of podcast rambling can change that fact. Now, let's talk about 50's massive misstep, because this tea is scalding. Teaming up with Andrew Schulz might have seemed brilliant in his head. I mean, Schulz has the platform, the audience, and that reputation for stirring up drama that 50 absolutely lives for. But oh my goodness, this move has backfired so spectacularly. Instead of coming across as a credible critic, 50 is looking like someone who's just bitter about Kendrick's dominance. And Schulz, his contributions to the conversation only proved how completely out of touch they both are with Kendrick's cultural significance.
I'm deciding to f your life up. Rick, I'm gonna f your life up. For fun.
But here's what's absolutely sending me. While 50 and Schulz are out here making all this noise, Kendrick is choosing to stay completely silent. And honestly, it's the most devastating clapback ever. Kendrick doesn't even need to address these criticisms because his work literally speaks louder than words. Whether it's the raw storytelling on GNX, his absolutely iconic Super Bowl performance, or the way he commands respect from literally everyone in the industry, Kendrick keeps proving why he's absolutely untouchable. And speaking of moments that had fans absolutely fuming, let's discuss this recent Flagrant podcast episode, because it didn't just showcase Andrew Schulz's questionable humor. It exposed 50's true feelings about Kendrick Lamar. And honey, it is not pretty. The moment that set the internet on absolute fire was when 50 asked Schulz to explain his bizarre and honestly disgusting comments about what he wanted to do to Kendrick in response to being called out on whacked-out murals. And instead of apologizing or even trying to clarify, Schulz had the audacity to double down and turn it into a joke, completely brushing off the backlash like the entire hip-hop community wasn't already calling him out for his disrespect.
You think you lost your shoe deal because of me?
Yes,
It's because you're a cop, Rick. Nobody likes the f***ing cops, Rick. It's not my fault.
boss.
The way 50 acted in that interview, it showed exactly where his loyalties lie. By aligning himself with Schulz's comments and behavior, he drew a clear line in the sand. He's backing Drake and his camp's narrative, no matter how paper-thin it is. And let me tell you about one of the most telling moments when they started discussing the long-running feud between Drake and Kendrick. 50 had the nerve to push this tired narrative that Kendrick's feelings toward Drake come from jealousy, claiming Drake was on top and Kendrick was just bitter. But let's get real for a second. This narrative falls apart faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. Commercially, Kendrick has proven time and time again that he's not just on Drake's level, he's surpassed him in key moments. Take 2017, for example. Damn didn't just dominate the charts. It earned Kendrick a Pulitzer Prize. While Drake's been crushing it in streaming numbers, Kendrick's influence goes so far beyond just numbers. He's creating cultural moments. Now let's dive into 50 Cent's real problem with Kendrick's success, because this tea is piping hot. During his Flagrant podcast appearance, 50 made it crystal clear that he's still holding the biggest grudge over Kendrick's iconic Control verse. When Kendrick dropped those bars calling out literally everyone in the game, it wasn't about disrespect. It was about elevating the art form. But Drake took it personally, and apparently, so did 50.
Is there anything about Ross and his career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him. You know, I understand from a perspective of someone who's just listening to what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great rapper.
But does it matter that he's correct? Does that ever matter? Does it matter? Even when artists look at the artists, look at the irony of the artists that come under.
So Meek,
Right.
Wale.
Prison reform, and all of the wrongfully convicted and wrongfully treated people in the prison system.
Fast forward to now, and 50's still so salty about it. During the interview, he tried to diminish Kendrick's impact by calling him a media darling, like Kendrick's success is some carefully orchestrated PR stunt instead of pure, raw talent and cultural impact.
The slippery soap. You know, I actually washed the car because I'm supporting my brother. I'm not just buying slippery soap. I'm actually using it myself. So, just stay tuned to see Diddy and Rose wash the car.
But here's the gag. Back when the Kendrick versus Drake feud was at its peak, it wasn't even Kendrick who had the media's backing. Almost every major hip-hop outlet was predicting Drake would come out on top, with shows like The Breakfast Club hyping up Drake's response tracks like they'd already won the war. And don't even get me started on this bitter attempt to rewrite history. The way 50's spinning it, you'd think Kendrick had every advantage handed to him on a silver platter while poor Drake was fighting against all odds. But let's keep it real. Drake has been the media and industry's golden child for years. From major cosigns by industry titans to being the face of streaming dominance, Drake has had advantages for days. So when 50 tries to push this narrative, it's giving nothing but pure bitterness, especially when he starts mocking Kendrick's Pulitzer Prize, a groundbreaking achievement that elevated hip-hop to a whole new level of cultural legitimacy. Speaking of clowning the Pulitzer, the fact that 50 and Andrew Schultz had the audacity to laugh at Kendrick's win isn't just disrespectful, it's completely regressive. Damn wasn't just an album. It was a cultural moment that proved hip-hop could stand toe-to-toe with any other form of artistic expression. By becoming the first rapper to win the Pulitzer, Kendrick didn't just break barriers for himself, he opened doors for the entire genre.
Diddy and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They're gay.
Who?
Both. Diddy and Ross. And Khaled. They're all gay, okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross,
Yeah.
and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Khaled is a Hamas supporter. Okay?
Who supporter?
Hamas.
Hamas. Yeah.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
No worries.
Hamas supporter, okay?
Right.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot.
Hidden in plain sight.
It's hidden.
I think I see what you're saying.
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
The way 50's mocking such an achievement only shows how completely out of touch he's become. Instead of celebrating hip-hop being recognized on such prestigious platforms, 50's comments suggest he'd rather keep the genre trapped in outdated stereotypes. And let's talk about this ridiculous authenticity argument 50 made during his rant. He had the nerve to claim that Kendrick has replaced Drake at the center of the industry because Kendrick's music is somehow less authentic to the streets. According to 50, Kendrick's ability to reach a wider audience means he's compromised hip-hop's integrity. But let me spill all the tea. Good Kid, M.A.'d City is literally one of the most authentic storytelling albums in rap history. It's a raw, unfiltered look at life in Compton that hits different for anyone who's faced adversity. Meanwhile, he's defending Drake, who's known for pop sensibilities and ghostwriters. The math isn't mathing, honey.
They do satanic ritual, which is basically CIA mind programming techniques to their own family, kids, etc. on the crew, and they bond that way. Okay, so they do pedophilia, they do animal abuse, killing of animals, blood sacrifices, and everything in the Bohemian Grove. Okay,
right.
The Bohemian Grove, the Bushes go there. George Senior and George, both of them are in the same agenda. They cousins with the Clintons. Okay, so is Donald Trump. He's also a distant cousin. So if you see, there's a direct correlation of the presence of the United States being bonded between family ties. Okay,
Gotcha.
All these family ties wound up go back to the same place.
And don't even get me started on this glaring hypocrisy. 50's out here defending Drake, an artist who's been called out multiple times for diluting the genre with formulaic hits and strategic collabs. While Kendrick's out here pushing boundaries and addressing real issues, Drake's been accused of chasing chart success over cultural impact. Yet 50 has the audacity to paint Kendrick as the villain. It's giving projection, and I mean major projection.
So it's kind of like a hidden agenda, which they try to make it open to our eyes, but we really don't see it. We're so busy working.
It's kind of like hidden in plain sight.
It's hidden.
I think I see what you're saying.
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
It's the black people. Okay. I'm from Africa, so I'm not a racist. I had settlement with Sean, okay? And he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous. They land all the contracts. It's his attorneys, which are Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes. Ben Mercedes worked for Bad Boy Entertainment for 4 years and worked for Hillary Rodman for 5. Okay? When I take charm the threat of death on me, okay? I don't have it, but I can make it available under secrecy. That means that I wouldn't be liable because I don't want to be getting framed for anything.
Now, let's get into the real reason for 50's beef, because this tea is scalding. It all comes back to Kendrick's role in reshaping hip-hop's legacy. When Kendrick got that Super Bowl halftime show spot in 2022, it was crystal clear. He was Dr. Dre's true torchbearer, and for 50, who built his whole career under Dre's guidance, that had to sting like 1,000 bees. And the cherry on top? 50 wasn't even supposed to be at the Super Bowl. He only got added after Eminem pushed for his inclusion, and even then, he was basically a footnote compared to Kendrick's show-stopping performance. And here's the real gag. Kendrick is over a decade into his career, and instead of falling off or plateauing, he keeps evolving and solidifying his place among the GOATs. Meanwhile, 50's prime was basically over after his third album. No shade, just facts. While Get Rich or Die Tryin' and The Massacre were absolute cultural moments, by the time Curtis dropped, the magic just wasn't hitting the same way. And that's fine, not everyone can stay on top forever. But 50 refuses to acknowledge that Kendrick's longevity isn't luck, it's pure dedication to the craft. Let's be real about why 50 won't give Kendrick his flowers. It's a constant reminder of what he couldn't achieve. Kendrick has transcended the genre, becoming more than just a rapper. He's a cultural icon performing at Super Bowls, winning Pulitzers, and shaping conversations around hip-hop in ways 50 never did. 50 had his shot at evolving. He had the platform, the resources, and the talent. But instead of growing with the times, he doubled down on the same formula until the audience moved on. And about the future of this feud, don't sleep on Kendrick. He might be quiet now, but history shows that when Kendrick decides to address something, he leaves no room for interpretation. If 50 keeps poking the bear, don't be shocked if Kendrick drops a track that absolutely demolishes 50's entire argument and ends this feud once and for all. Because let's be honest, 50's trolling might get him some attention now, but Kendrick's responses? They tend to stick around and make history. Now, what do you think about all this drama? Does 50's criticism of Kendrick hold any water? Or is this just another case of a former heavyweight who can't handle seeing a new champion rise? If you were Kendrick, would you clap back or keep letting your success do all the talking? And is 50's bitterness really about his career struggles? Or is there something deeper going on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe for more juicy hip-hop drama. And make sure to check out our next video about how Lil Wayne squashed his beef with Kendrick and why Drake might never forgive him for it. Trust me, it's even spicier than this.